not that as stagnated as we got a little bit, against Detroit. But I do think some of that had to do with the fact that we couldn't make a shot at that point in time. But Lonzo, I thought, did a good job facilitating, really on both ends on the floor. He played really well defensively and offensively.
Seems like just any extra motivation or anything for Lonzo sort of facing his former team?
Yeah, I don't know. Lonzo is a very, very respectful guy. I think loves to play the game. That would probably be a question for him to ask him. I've never really talked to him about his time or his experience in New Orleans. I think we as an organization have always liked him as a player. So when the trade did happen, he's never talked to me about any of that.
It seemed like you actually started a little slowly. I think you only had like a dozen points in the first 7 minutes. And when that group came in with Green, especially, and Brown, it seemed like that energized things and changed the flow of the way you want to talk, you want to play.
I think so. I didn't. I thought, to your point, Sam, the way the game started, I agree. We had some pretty good looks. We just didn't shoot the ball particularly well. I don't think Zach scored in the first quarter. The same shots he made in the second quarter, he didn't make. So it was kind of like the same situation, a little bit like Detroit, where we just couldn't really get going offensively. But I thought our defense was pretty good. And I thought, to your point, the second unit in the end of that first quarter into the second quarter, and then the second unit at the end of the third going into the fourth, I mean, they energized and did a lot of really, really good things. So, and then Zach, I thought in the second quarter when he got back in there, was really incredible with some of the things that he did offensively.
You just mentioned the second unit. What was the difference between tonight and that opener with the second string?
I just think that, we're going to, have to continually get better. I think I talked a little bit after the Detroit game that, we were slow, we were stagnant. We just never really got in. We missed a lot of shots around the basket, layups. We just were out of sorts. And I thought we got slow because of it. And then I think tonight we played faster. And I think when we play faster, it helps us because we have handlers and passers. And the faster we play, not that we want to be out of control, one pass shot, but we have really, really, really good passing guys on our team and very unselfish guys. So you could see on the break tonight, the ball just kind of pops on the break. Well, you got to work to get out there and do that, to get in those situations. And, I think the more these guys play together, the more we can keep building and trying to create an identity where guys get a feel of, where shots are coming from offensively, how we're playing, and then how they're going to play off of each other.
One thing, the other night, Zach wasn't shooting early in the first quarter, and then when he saw things, he sort of got going. And tonight he started shooting and was missing, but then DeRozan actually sort of kept you in there. And is that sort of difference? Last year it seemed like if Zach did that, you'd be down 20. You had somebody else to sort of fill that gap when he had a slow period.
Yeah, I think so, Sam. And I also think the other part of it is, we need Zach to be aggressive, and he wasn't. These guys are such good guys, and they're so respectful to all. They want to play the right way they do. But there's certain times, they're just really talented players, and there's certain times they got to do what they do. Zach, we needed. We talked about after the Detroit game, we needed him to be aggressive, and he was aggressive early, but he didn't shoot the ball well, which is okay. And DeMar kind of carried the load a little bit, and Vooch got, I think, 21 shots against Detroit. He didn't have as many tonight. DeMar kind of carried us there. Those two guys, I think maybe at the half, both those two guys had 35 points combined. So we've just got to recognize who's maybe going well at a particular time. But, Zach got it going a little bit there in that second quarter. And DeMar, in that first quarter, and when he came back in, got it going. But both those guys, I think, helped us going into the half.
It's kind of funny. I mean, you guys have all these new additions and shiny new toys, and Javonte Green is re-signed. It didn't really move the needle much. In fact, some of us even speculate he might not be in the rotation. You've always sung his praises, and he comes in tonight and makes a huge impact. I mean, did we just kind of overlook him? I mean, what's your take on how he's fit in?
No, I mean, he's I think the one thing with Javonte is you feel him in the game. You just feel him, just the way he flies around and he challenges shots and he runs the floor and he slashes and he gets on the glass and, you just feel him out there. And I've always been a fan. I think last year when he kind of in that Philadelphia game where we got down big, we threw him out there. He kind of took off, and I know we were battling at that point in time to try to get into a playing situation. But those last whatever number of games, he played well and he's had a really good training camp. And like, I trust his energy and I trust his motor. And the thing with him is he plays to who he is. He doesn't try to do things he can't do or things that he's not good at. But what he is good is he's good at playing with great energy. So he gets his energy into the game. And I think it's a great lesson for a lot of players instead of getting wrapped up in like, I'm not a 35 or a 45% 3-point shooter, and he gets wrapped up in the fact of what he can do, and he impacts the game with what he does. And he really, I think, had a lot to do with the runs that we went on in both the second quarter and the third quarter.
Really, this is hardly a in-depth observation, but it looked like they had fun the way they were sharing the ball, getting out for some easy baskets. What did you see? Just the way they were playing together, maybe feeding off the crowd tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we have to run, because if we don't run, we're not going to be in a position to do what you just mentioned, and that's to share the ball. We've got a really, really good instinctive passing team. I mean, Zach, for as great as a scorer is a very good passer. Vooch is a great passer. DeMar's a great passer. Lonzo's a great passer. Caruso's they all. Patrick Williams is a good passer. The faster we play in broken floor situations, now what happens is they just play instinctively, which is what we've got to do. But when we kind of get a little bit, and it happened a little bit, to be honest with you, coming out of halftime into the third quarter, we got a little bit. We were in mud a little bit. We're a little bit slow. When we get like that, it's hard to get passing into the game. But when you kind of get the defense back on their heels and those guys are kind of creating and they're playing fast and the ball gets sprayed around, then those guys can play to their strengths. So they love the game. This has been a great group to work with. It's a great group of guys. They love to play. I think they enjoy playing the right way. They know the way the game should be played. And for as great of a scorer as Zach and DeMar, are. And even Vooch, I would say that they're pass first guys. They're more interested in playing the right way than they are, getting their numbers, so to speak.
Billy, what did you make of the crowd? Your first time coaching in front of that level of a capacity since you got here. Did you feel guys kind of feeding off of that, get a little jolt? Just what did you make of kind of the impact that had?
Well, I was happy I wasn't the opposing team, because I always felt like it was hard coming in here playing. It was always a really, really difficult place to play in. And, so I was happy, I was the home team. You should ask the guys. I mean, I thought it was a great atmosphere. It was a great environment. The fans are loud, and, listen, if we can play well, you end up making it a very, very, exciting building to play in. And, but I thought tonight the crowd was great and very, very involved. And I can't help but to think that no question energizes those guys when they get like that. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Eugene, go ahead. We got you.
So it's Christos, no?
No.
Okay.
Eugene, go ahead, unmute your mic.
Yes. Is that Christos?
Eugene, go ahead.
Okay.
Hey, Billy, it's Eugene from the Bigs. I just wanted to ask you about the performance of, excuse me, Alizé Johnson tonight. I remember last year he had a couple big games in Brooklyn. But what type of impact do you see him having for you guys coming off the Oak?
Yeah, I mean, he's been great for us the entire year. Preseason, he's obviously undersized. I think the position where I think he creates a lot of challenges is when he plays the center spot. We've played him as a backup 5, but his motor, his energy, his competitiveness, he's given us some really, really good minutes these last 2 games, and he's given us good minutes in the preseason. But I just always have great respect for someone that plays the game as hard as he does.